That little shimmy.
Oh, yeah,
Hit that little shimmy. You know the deal. You see me editing them awful cuts. All right, y'all. We got Richard Wirthlin in the fucking house.
We got Richard Wirthlin Leopold in the house.
Leopold Richard Wirthlin Leopold in the house.
The third.
Ooh. But really, he feels like the first. But I'm gonna sum him up in one sentence. This is the Jordan Belfort of solar energy.
Minus. No,
There's no minus.
The illegals. Minus the illegals.
No, there's one thing he's trying to collect that he doesn't have, but I think John Sarabalis will come through.
Nah, he's a bum.
Shout out, John.
Shout
So,
out Big J.
I know we obviously know background on you, but kick it off from the jump, from the origins of who you are. This is also Richie's first podcast, by the way. The origins of who you are, where you're from, how you grew up, and let's get to like the bottom, the nitty, and the gritty for the people who don't know you.
Ooh, bro, that's. I feel like that's gonna be a long.
His first one is pass.
Yeah, plead the fifth.
Yeah, no. This. All right, we can start. I mean, quick summary. Grew up in LA. I actually lived in Russia for 4 years as a kid. Kind of like random fact. So I spent some time when I was young, in the motherland, and
shout out IKEA.
Yeah,
everyone's listening.
Speaking of which, did you see that story I sent you? Did you see that story of like legit these guys who were like how to like film a promo on a budget, and they just go to IKEA and they have like their product and they go into the different rooms and like put it up, and then they're like, bro, it's hilarious.
We should 100%
and the hot dogs are cheap and they eat for cheap.
Yo, we should 100% run that, but let's do it where it's like that. Like we're feasting. Let's turn it into like a music video. You ever seen? I forgot what song it is, but the Playboy Cardi video where they're like, it's like the Velo and Lil Uzi, and they're all sitting up with like all the white people, and like they got them going crazy at first. They're all like, what the fuck? We'll do it like that, but like in IKEA.
We should just stage pickleball in every space. It's like, ooh, living room set. Child's bedroom, we're playing pickleball over the bed.
That's what I'm saying. Well, you could go in a child's bedroom and put like back to school pickleball stuff, you know, or go into the kitchen and be like, you cook into the kitchen today and have like the IKEA kitchen and just sit there with the pickleball paddle. You know?
That's like what Supreme did with Louis Vuitton until they actually got the collab, but we'll do it with IKEA.
There you go.
IKEA collab would be sick.
Yeah.
Oh man.
If we did the IKEA blue and yellow uniforms across the entire country, game over.
That'd be gnarly. Yeah, we definitely have a lot of people rocking it off the bat.
But yeah, Russia, back to LA, lived in Utah for 10 years, then moved to Florida about 4 years ago. And kind of the moves were sales, like you guys talked about. That's what I do is I've been selling since I can remember. Been talking to people, having conversations, and
what's the first thing you think you ever
persuade
sold?
People to a yes, I would say.
What's the first thing
I don't even know, bro. I probably sold some Pogs. That kind of goes to show my age. Nick, you know Pogs?
Dude, I had the slammers, the jammers, the singles.
Drew?
Dude, I had the.
I don't know what we're talking about.
I think this goes.
You don't know what we're talking about. It's weird.
I think this goes to show my age.
You really don't know what Pogs are at all, huh? That's kind of weird to me.
I just want everybody to know that someone today, Chigozi, he asked me how old I was. He goes, "Yeah, man. How are you? 25?" I said, "Damn, boy." That's a discount for that.
Chigozi, you from a different planet, dog.
Yeah.
25.
No, Pogs were these tiny little like flat collectible. It was like a flat kind of quarter size, bigger than a quarter, like a $50 size, but it was just paper. And some of them were like thicker paper and nicer, and they'd have designs on it, and you collect them in these tubes. And
like
then what you do, it was like, bro, it's literally where my gambling addiction started, if I'm being honest.
Those are your chips?
Like,
those are your symbolic
what you would
chips?
do, this is really how Pogs worked. I'd have my tube, you'd have your tube. It'd be at the bus stop before school started, or it'd be like at recess. And legit, this way would happen is I'd pull out a bunch of mine, and you pull a bunch of yours, and I'd pick one, and then you'd be like, all right, for that one, this one. And we'd both basically put one up, and you put two Pogs on top of each other. And what happens is you have this thing called a slammer. Now, the slammer is going to be the same kind of shape. Some of them were different shape, but
there were slammers and jammers, weren't they?
Yep.
The jammers were the thick boys. The slammers were the singles.
Yep. And basically what you do is you would throw them down, and if you flip them over, so if they go up and they flip upside down, you keep them.
Oh, that's
If
sick.
only one goes over, then you have a chance to grab the jammer or the slammer, and you go to the side and you get to flick it. And if it pops over, it's yours, and then you kind of go back and forth. So it was like, legit, bro, it was like collecting and gambling at the same time, and I was probably 6 years old when this started.
Oh, that's
and I remember
crazy.
just like having certain ones that like I would hype up. Like I feel like that's when selling or persuasion kind of started for me, because I'd be like, oh, if I say this, you know, Pikachu Pog is sick, and the homies start thinking that, then I could probably trade them or sell it for something else or try to get them to play one of theirs.
That is sick.
So sometimes I'd put up Pogs that I was not afraid to lose. And like I would go against like, you know, ones that I really wanted. And I feel like I had a collection that was crazy.
Elite.
Then Pokemon cards. And now, dude, one of these days I got to show you boys my sports cards collection.
Yo, I think
I had a Magic the Gathering collection.
Oof.
That I sold to go to med school for like, I sold it for like $5 or $6K when I went to med school because I wanted some extra cash. The fucking shit's over $100K.
Oh, I bet. You see, Post bought a card for $1 million, right?
Dude, I had the Black Lotus. I had the
Yeah.
card. I had that card. I sold it for fucking pennies on the dollar because I was like, yo, I just want to go down to med school with a few extra bucks in my pocket. The card itself now is like 65, 70K.
That's how I feel right now. I have some cards, and I'm like, man, I could get rid of this card, and
I know you don't
finish the
crack.
house,
I know you don't
or
crack on shit. Like you,
get my
anything you're
pickleball
collecting,
court
I feel
done,
like
or get a
you'll
nicer
keep.
boat, or like, man, I have some cards, but then I'm like, dude, I'm telling you,
Where you're headed, you're gonna make more money. You can always buy
I
it
got
back.
some collectibles that I think are hilarious. Like I have a numbered Gucci Xbox. You guys ever heard of this?
Nah.
So it was like back in, I don't know, 2019 maybe. Gucci and Xbox did this collab. And they're saying, hey, we're doing a collab together. It's going to be a Gucci briefcase. And inside it's going to be a Xbox One, Gucci laser printed with 2 custom controllers. This crazy thing.
That's
okay?
wild.
They put a price tag on it, 10 grand. Okay.
Like the retail price?
Retail, that's what they're going to sell them for, 10 grand. But what they did, and this is where my brain was like, I need one, I want one, how do I get one? Is they're going to number them. So they're going to have 1 out of 100, and every single box is numbered, every controller is numbered, every Xbox is numbered, and they're numbered 1 out of 100. And they still have only done this series once.
What number do you have?
So let me tell you how I get it first, then I'll tell you the number. So kind of a crazy story. So I'm like, all right, I want one of these because like collectibles, like right now if you have like an old Xbox, or sorry, like an N64, unopened N64 from the 90s, dude, those go for like, I don't know, 5-10 times like what they were retail. And I think if you hold on to them, there's going to be a market for this stuff that gets wild. I think it's already wild. Kobe Bryant's locker just sold for like 3.8 million. Don't hit me up on these numbers, by the way, because like numbers are usually way off with me. I'm dyslexic, but a lot. If it's a big number, I mean it's kind of a lot.
8.3. I was gonna say. Yeah.
What was it? 8. What was it?
No, you said 3.8.
I wish we had like a little dude in here, Hunter. Where you at on the computer?
Yeah.
Like a Jamie.
The guy like going over the
Jamie
desk.
on Rogan. I listen to Rogan.
Get us that fact.
Just keep GPT rolling.
Yeah.
And it's just auto fact checking. We'll make a fact check.
That would be rad, actually. If like it just put it up there and if like.
Dude, that'd be
automated
sick.
it,
Like
you
a
could
TV
switch
screen
it.
that's just a fact checker. Anything
So
you
now we
say.
can finally get my TV screen on the back wall like I asked.
There you go. Put it on the sidewall.
Yeah.
Or we get the rotating room.
Gucci Xbox. I'm like, I got to get one of these, and I look up, and online it says something like because they only have 100, and there's all these Gucci stores. There's like this big deal about who was going to get them. So they kind of, I saw online it just said it releases on this date, and I'm like, okay, I got to figure out what stores have them, and maybe I'll fly to one, maybe I'll camp out, maybe I'll be one of those dudes that tries to get one of these 10 grand. I don't know if there's a huge market for people that want to spend that, but they're numbered. If anyone's smart, I think that this is a huge investment opportunity.
It's also a low number.
I call up Gucci like a week before. I'm like, hey, your Gucci Xbox, I'm looking at it right here on website. It says it drops this Thursday. What stores is it going to? And she looks up and she's like, or I'm like, this is where I find out. I'm like, what time does it drop for the website? She goes, oh, there's none going on the website. She's like, kind of giggled at me. She's like, we had to give these to certain stores. She like names the stores that are getting them. She's like, it was like a big deal of who got them. and I'm like, oh, okay. And then she goes, like pulls up on her computer and she goes, oh my goodness. And I'm like, what? She goes, they're actually all sold out. I'm like, no. They drop on Thursday. They can't be sold out. And she goes, no. They're sold out right now. And I'm in Vegas with some friends on this trip, and I'm like on the phone. I remember this like this is crazy. And I'm like, okay, well they're sold out. And I remember hanging up and being like, okay, well, damn, dude, like must not be. I guess I don't get one, you know. And I'm kind of confused on where they're sold out. And actually, rewind. I'm kind of going on a tangent here, but the reason why she said they're sold out is there's certain Gucci clients that get offered stuff before they hit the market. You probably know this. So it's like something's going to drop. They're going to hit up all their athletes, all their famous people, all the big money people and say, hey, this is about to drop. Do you want one? So what they did with this Gucci Xbox is they sent it out and 100 people said yes. So I was like, oh yeah, of course, there's no way I was going to get one. Hung up. Kind of felt good about not having to drop 10 grand. 2 days later, on the day of the drop, I get a phone call, or 3 days later, or whatever it was that week. I'm still in Vegas. I get a phone call, and it's this lady, and she's like, hey, Richie, this is Julia from Gucci. I got you a Gucci Xbox. And she's like breathing heavy. And it was kind of like
She killed someone
sketchy.
for it.
Bro, it was weird. It was really weird. And she's like, I need your credit card right now. And I remember being like, okay, what's going on? She's like, I'll explain later. I just need your credit card right now. And I was like, hey, like, no offense. It's 10 grand. Can you send me an email from your Gucci account so I could see like that this is legit? Because they have like, Gucci stamp. You see the Gucci email. And she's like, yeah, I'll do it right now. Stay on the line. So stay on there. Boom, it comes through. So I'm like, what the okay. Pull out my credit card. Give her my credit card. She's like, it's yours. Confirmation email comes through. It's on there. I'm like, what happened? She goes, this is the craziest thing ever. She's like, Rich, someone who pre-ordered one, Gucci has this rule supposedly that if you like say, yeah, I want one, and you're one of like the really wealthy people, and you have like a tab basically, someone's credit card declined. So someone's credit card that ordered one of these declined, and Gucci has this rules, or I don't know at what level they do this, but where they don't re-ask them, hey, your credit card declined, because I think it was like a pre-order. So they had this one Xbox that someone's card declined, and they didn't know what to do with it. They couldn't give it to one store because there was all this drama about it. So they literally were just like, hey, was there anyone that called in that like asked about the Xbox? And she said they randomized the people that had called in because they have some system that separates calls and what the calls were about. And they chose me. So I'm like sitting there and there's a video. I don't know if it's like Tfue or Ninja or some big dude that has one of these Xboxes online. And he's literally in the video. He's like, dude, the only way you could get one of these if you're like an athlete or you're like a superstar. Like these were so hard to get. And it's like unveiling his and I'm sitting there like, dying. And all my buddies like, yeah, this would happen to you. Because I tell people I'm the luckiest person. So I saw that Xbox. It's number 87. That's the year I was born.
Oh, that's
kind of crazy. 87. I've only
you
opened
are
it.
old.
I've never used it. I'll bring it one time, dude. On one side it says Gucci Xbox. The other side it says good game.
Oh, that's
It's sick, bro. And like the green letters.
You never
it's the
opened
year.
it?
I opened it. No, I've opened it. I opened it and like looked at the controllers.
You play a
and,
game
like,
on it?
But like never played a game.
We will hold
never
you
plugged it
accountable
in.
for when you go to sell it.
I think it's worth $1 million.
You think it's $1 million?
I think one day, whether it's 5 years from now or 50 years from now, I think a numbered Gucci Xbox
I think easily
is worth $1 million. And for me, it's one of those things like, dude, if you're a billionaire and you're like, it's like, for me, I don't think I ever want it to be played. I kind of want it to be someone's like art behind their desk. Like you have a massive desk in like, Manhattan or this huge, beautiful workspace.
Yeah, and you just have
art
like, you have
behind it.
shelves and then you
like I
have
said,
one.
Kobe, someone literally just bought Kobe's locker. Price, I don't know, but they did for an insane amount. 2.9 million. It just got auctioned for. That's crazy.
9.2.
Good job, Turbo.
I think I said 3.8, right? 3.8. All right, but I got numbers. I really am dyslexic. But that's where it is. But there's times right now. I think right now they're going for like 20 grand on StockX, but they're like open. I think there's only one for sale. And that's the thing too is like you can start to control the market a little bit if you want. Like in sports cards, you kind of know that where if you start to buy the only PSA 10s of certain cards, then you kind of control the price.
That's sick.
But yeah,
No, that's
Gucci
sick.
Xbox, kind of crazy.
What does PSA stand for?
I don't really know.
Public service.
No, because it's like the card grader. There's like Beckett. Beckett is one of the big ones, and then PSA.
Turbo, what's PSA stand for?
Yeah, I
like
think it's like
Turbo.
a
Fact
brand.
I'm
checker.
gonna start calling Turbo.
Turbo.
Turbo!
But yeah, that's where like sports
So-
cards could be.
Professional sports authenticator.
There you go.
Oh yeah, that's valid. That checks out.
I would have never guessed that, but yeah.
You're the professional facts authenticator.
I have
Say, I'm gonna get a laptop
PFA.
and just sit up there and
PFA.
You should, bro.
Straight
You
fact
should.
checking.
That's huge.
All right, so I got a little bit of story. So I used to be one of those guys, and I earned it in a really weird way. I was not famous, but I was a fucking crackhead. And one time in Milan, I spent a shit ton of money, and I literally shopped like I was a rapper, well beyond my means. And in doing it, I mean, I was like manically shopping, having the best time of my life. Went to the original Prada store, dropped the bag. Then went to Louis Vuitton, dropped the bag. Like, got these earrings, got a bunch of stuff, got clothes, shoes, all this shit. And then this guy, Vincenzo comes in. He's like, "Hey man, you're awesome. I like your energy. Let me take your number." So he takes my number, and I went through it. Like I at this point, like I'm spent out, like beyond spent out. And then I'm living in Ibiza. I get a message from Vincenzo, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this about?" He's like, "Hey, they're Louis Vuitton and Off-White are doing a collab. You can get as many shoes as you want right now." And I was like, "Vincenzo, I think I've spent enough money. Thank you for the offer, whatever." Like, fucked. So I waved it off, and I had a few people hit me up like on that note. So about a month or two later, I'm in Lebanon, and my cousin, who's like sick, she's from Paris, and she works for like Louis Vuitton labs, like out there. She's like, "Yo, have you seen these shoes? And she shows me them on StockX. It's the Louis Vuitton fucking Off-White collabs. And every single pair in every colorway is going from 8 to 12,000. And they're like 300 retail. He's like, you can get as many pairs as you want.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I buy all this dumb shit. And the one opportunity I have that I could have just fucking probably made $100K, slapped on it.
Bro, I got a lot of those stories when it comes to like crypto and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I got none of those stories.
But good, no, I'm saying like good and bad. Like the ones that you're gonna miss it. Yeah, you do. You just don't want to tell them, bro.
Yeah, one time I dropped a quarter at that thing at McDonald's and it goes down and I hit it on the bottom shelf. Big Mac.
Bro, I actually, I can
Yeah,
work
that's
those
it.
Taco Bell ones, the ones that have like it goes here,
Yeah,
here,
like
here,
this.
and you have to drop it down to the bottom. I literally mastered that as a kid, bro, and they shut it down at my one in Santa Clarita because I was getting so much free food.
They shut us down the one at McDonald's because literally we'd play basketball at this place called the Preserves for like 8 or 9 hours straight. Like not eat a fucking meal, then we go to this McDonald's right around the corner and we just shake it. And all of us would do it in turns, hit that bottom one with the quarter and fucking cash out on a sandwich. And we would do it and we'd do it back to back to back to the point where like probably a month or two in, I remember this fucking fat, massive ass manager and they just banned us from it. I don't know if they took it out, but they banned us from it.
What game's that one?
The one that has like it's like
Sure,
an
it
orange
goes up and-
neon transparent one with the layers, and you have the thing that you're
That's
just
what I'm
supposed to
saying, so
spin.
it's like
Yeah, you can move it up and down like this, and you
some-
can spin.
No, you can spin
I
it.
thought it was something you're saying you like the thing would spin
No,
down.
no,
But I just always drop it on the second layer, and then you just give it a little just shake
Yeah,
it, shake it,
yeah.
and it just drops right down there.
Yeah, that's what I
got nice with it. I got real nice with it.
sometimes would just go reverse. If you're at the top, instead of going dun 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 around,
Just top to bottom.
If you go top to bottom, you barely bring it over there.
Just hit a little.
We can drop on that last one, and you kind of have to shake till it gets to the very end, and then you kind of push it a little more so it goes exactly halfway, and just. I was in there for a minute. They have one here in Clearwater at a Taco Bell.
Yeah, I've
There you
never
go.
seen them on a Taco Bell.
But I hit it a couple times, but Taco Bell burritos don't hit like that.
I don't think I've ever been. I had a period where I ate a normal amount of Taco Bell, above average amount of Taco Bell. I don't think I've ever been inside a Taco Bell. Oh no, I take it back. I've been in one Taco Bell. It was in Las Vegas, and it was the Cantina, the one where they have beer and all that shit.
That's the best Taco Bell, bro.
It blew my mind. It blew my mind. I was like, you can get fucking beer at a Taco Bell?
Dude,
By
we stayed
far
at the Cosmo, and you could walk across the little gateway thing there.
Yeah, that
the
shit's
walkway, and that's open all night long. There's a DJ in there, and the food is just for some reason so much better there.
By far the best cantina Taco Bell, hands down, there's no better one, is in Pacifica, California. It's right by my brother's office. It's on the beach.
Ooh,
And
that's
you go
sick.
and you
That's
literally
hard to
get your Taco Bell, your beer, and you're sitting on the fucking beach in Pacifica, just eating Taco Bell, just unobstructed. It's
That's
like
beautiful.
insane.
What is the best after party restaurant spot that any of you have ever been to?
After party restaurant spot.
You know what I'm talking about? Like it's 4 or 5 a.m. and like the only thing really open is like a fucking restaurant or something. But when you pull up, everybody from the club or where you was at was
I think
there.
it like all
Just a
depends on
party.
like where you're at and what age you're at, and like for example, when I was like high school, it
No
was In-N-Out.
parameters.
High school, we go to In-N-Out. There's kind of like the spot we
That's
hit up
classic,
after like
yeah.
games and stuff. It was that way. I feel like when I was living in Utah, there was a place called Beto's. And it was this- Beto's Mexican, and bro, they would make these burritos that were like this big, and they were open 24/7. And they were one of the
That's
few
sick.
places that was like 24/7, and everyone inside was open too. Would just go there. Didn't matter if it was 4 a.m., 2 a.m. Beto's was kind of the spot.
That's sick.
Mine was Denny's
Denny's.
in college. There was a Denny's.
Was it the Den or was it Denny's?
No, it was Denny's. It was right outside the bar in the same, like, it was in like an outbound parcel in the same parking lot as the bar that I managed and also used to party at. And people would get fucking absolutely shit-faced, and the entire bar would just carry over at fucking 2:30 in the morning right into Denny's.
That's what I'm
you
talking
would go,
about.
like,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
You go
about.
right out after. If you were talking to any girls, if there were any girls that you didn't talk to that you wanted to talk
Denny's
to,
is
they
the
were gonna
after
be
party.
there.
That's the dynamic.
And it was just, you were just shooting your shots still. Everyone was fucked up, and you were just shooting
Imagine
your
being
shots.
like the waitress or waiter at that
Oh
spot.
my god! I mean, they
That's
probably
the worst job
No, they're rowdy.
Probably
I'm
rake
sure
it
you
in.
get.
I mean, you make all your money at
people
like
are just
2:30 to
people
4
are
in the
just
morning.
tipping you like crazy. Like I mean, in college it's
college kids.
50-50.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm
50-50.
saying.
But you get a couple assholes that come in, whatever. They,
I mean, drinks in Orlando were pretty much free, practically. And when I was there, like, it was $5 all you can drink, like, every single night of the week. So if you had any extra change you were spending at Denny's, like,
Yeah.
you might.
Dude,
tip.
tell me about this experience you just had.
Oh, my psychic,
Your psychic.
my clairvoyant.
Yeah. It's like it's hot. Just happened. I kind of want to hear
Yeah.
everything.
you talking about G codes?
No.
No, not cheating. No. I did the clairvoyant thing right before that.
Oh, you actually did. I thought you were saying that he was just like.
No, dude. I got all these notes.
That's what I'm
some of the
saying,
notes. Some of the notes I got to plead the fifth on.
Hold up.
But no, it was.
I'm about to get comfy.
So,
Let's get the popcorn rolling, dog.
So tell me this first. Was it like was it a tarot card reading, or was it just like how did the experience go?
It was like, hey, you call this girl, call this lady.
Was it the one that I know of?
Yeah. So you call this lady, and you hit it. She called her up. She knew I was calling her. We got on the phone. I don't think it's expensive. I think it's like $65 for a half an hour or something like that. It's not
cheaper
crazy.
than therapy.
Yeah, it's not crazy. And
Not
they
as
go
cheap as a
on.
blunt.
She's cool. Not what you think. Not what you think. You go on and she's just like throwing out F-bombs, this, that, like, I'm crazy, I'm this. Like, she's just a cool person. You're talking like one of us. We're on a podcast. And then she starts with a generalization, like reading. She said she doesn't need the cards, but she uses the cards because otherwise she talks so much she'll get off topic and she'll blow through the 30 minutes and it won't actually be directed. So she says, I use the cards, bear with me, and let me get my tools out. And yeah, it really just started like she just flipped over whatever, I don't know what she's doing on the back end because it's just an audio, it's no video. And she just started hammering damn near every single thing that is going on in my life.
And you didn't give her any context.
I gave her zero context out the rip. I gave her zero context.
Did anyone talk to her before?
Did someone? Yeah, but like stuff that was specific to me that wouldn't necessarily be known by anybody else, and like things that I'm going through specifically, and she's just ripping them like one by one and just kind of talking through things and saying like, hey, like this is where this is where I feel, not like really necessarily telling me something, but she's definitely on top of where I'm at. Like she's asking me, hey, is this where you're at? And I'm saying yes or no. Or
do you think that if she would have asked the same questions to like me or Drew or anyone else right now that we'd have? Because I always think with example, psychics sometimes I'm wondering if like it's a very broad, we're like, I'm going to ask you it and everyone's going to kind of like, you feel a little lonely.
Well, I guess the first time
she flipped open the cards.
What's the format?
The format is she starts just generalized. She like flips over whatever.
She asking you things? Or
no, like
you?
Right out. She like flipping over whatever cards, and she's like, she's telling me like, this is the cards that I'm seeing, and this is what these cards typically mean.
And you're on the phone with her?
And on the phone. And does this pertain to you? Like one of the first things that I was like, whoa, how the fuck did she know this? Because she doesn't know me. She doesn't know anything about me. And she asked me about. She's like, I see something with your business that. It's something big is coming up. I think you're traveling for an event that you might be sponsoring, and we're leaving tomorrow to go to Maryland. Like she doesn't know anything about me.
I know,
but that's where like that's like almost stuff like that to me makes me a little more sus in the sense of like why would you need to know that? Like and how we're almost like it's almost like
sounds like she went on her IG page.
You're for $65 an hour.
No, it was bang. It was like, hey. Can you get on a call? And then it was like she had no time. It would have been like she would have been the world's best FBI agent.
She didn't know what your name was before you got on the call?
It was like 30 seconds. It was like, hey, you're going to call the person? Boom, hey, we're on the call.
See, this is what I think we should do. I think we should call her up right now. She's never heard of me.
That would be electric.
Or that's what I'm saying. Something where like, because you might say she's never heard of you, but you got a contact from her from someone who's maybe used her before. I don't know how you got a hold of her, but let's say that's the case. There might have been some talk about that stuff there. She might have got your name. Maybe they're really good. Where again, I'm just playing devil's advocate. Maybe she's able to research
can we
you.
see?
Grab my phone. I wrote notes.
Wait. What are the odds?
And if you're a business owner, like you could say to me,
probably not. But I don't know because it was like set up. But I could ask. It was not. It was far and beyond that. It was like.
Bro, I want to believe this stuff. That's why I always come at it so hard. You guys know me on this side. Like I could go down a rabbit.
No, for sure.
So I'm about it. But that's one of the things I always think of is like I don't want like what was that guy? The Hollywood. Had a TV show. The guy who would like go read, like tell people about, like I talked to people in the dead.
Crossbody bag.
He was called something like Hollywood Mind Reader or something. It was a huge YouTube thing, and then he got kind of like called out, or not YouTube, but like a Netflix or something. Can't remember the name of it. Not a mind reader, but he was something.
What was it? What did he get called out? What was it?
I can't remember the whole story. He like lost. He would basically sit with people and then be like if you had someone that died and he would sit there with you and suppose you know nothing about
and
you.
And he'd tell you that you're
and
talking
then
to the person.
And then you would talk to them.
This is what that person's telling you.
This is how they feel. They forgive you for that car accident.
Yeah.
They do this and this. It was almost so specific that was one of those things where it's like, dude, it's real or you're a creep.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing some research behind the stuff, and like that's where I don't mind if it's a little bit of that. And they have like, I would love it if someone's like, I'm gonna just go off of feelings, and I'd almost want them to be wrong in some ways to know that like, yeah, dude, you are human. You're not god telling
you
me.
cut some of this stuff out of this podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Approximately 10 hours later.
When I do one, I want it to be in person, and I want my sidekick to be like
designer.
Bro, no, like the part. Like I want the big lobe in front. Like, that's just for like.
Well, her name's Karma, so
Well,
that's
there you
part of
go.
the part.
There you go. But you know what I really would do, like a sidekick one day, but something that I want to do is I want to get I want to get hypnotized. I want to have a hypnotist like put me under. Rob Deerdeck talks about this a lot. I don't know, you have Rob Deerdeck. You guys know skater, dude. He's
Of course.
rad businessman, huge, and I follow him. I like him a lot, and he talks about how like a therapist is what like changed his career. He like talks about like this guy and how like, when you meet with him, it's really expensive. This guy in LA, my buddy Jason's actually met with the guy, and he loved it too. But I think it's one of those things going back to all of this, like therapist, a sidekick, getting someone hypnotizing you. I think a lot of it's just like that self-belief, which I'm a huge believer on. Like, I think it's crazy how
speak yourself
so
forward.
many great people are like, I visualize this. Like Conor McGregor,
everything.
like there's so
Did
many.
you see that thing with Conor about how he fucking in the press when he knocked out Jose Aldo with the hook?
Yeah.
How he literally walked through
that was sick.
the frame of what was going to happen
Before,
like
yeah,
5
he
days
called it. He
before
called
the
it.
event.
That video was
There's too
sick.
much stuff that happens like that, and it's like the people who like write the checks to themselves, the Jim Carrey stories, or like the people who more of just like, I'm gonna start believing it. That I feel like it really like I think whatever you visualize, you could have.
It's the power.
100%.
It's the power. Manifesting is the most powerful thing in the world.
100%. Well, because you start making decisions and actions based on what you're believing. And so if you believe something, then every decision you make, and we try to tell that to the guys here, is like, yo, this is how we need to be. This is the level we need to set so that it dictates how we maneuver, right? If we act like a bunch of slouches and we show up late and we're not accountable for what we're doing, every single decision we make moving forward will be that. We'll be able to generate an excuse for something why it didn't happen. We'll show up late and it'll be okay, but it's not okay because how you do one thing is truly how you do everything, and it starts by doing the right things, and then more right things.
And I think deeper than that, it's like it really is like, what is a vision, right? Like a lot of people in life, they go float through life and they just choose what the best options they are, or they get comfortable. But like when you have a vision, like when you're locked in and you have a vision, not like a goal that I wrote down, like, hey, I want to hit this amount of fucking revenue this year. You have a vision beyond even your business of what your life actually looks like. They say an image speaks, 1,000 words. It does. Like when you have a vision and you see it very clearly, it's like, it's the most powerful version of a goal. Mm-hmm. If you see your life and you see exactly how you want it to look, everything you do, from like the way you wake up in the fucking morning, the way you treat this person, is going to be reflected towards that vision. Way more powerful than like, hey, I want to hit this goal. Like that's I'm very strong, but a very firm believer on that. And I think like that's what manifesting is like to me. Mm-hmm. It's like having a fucking vision, and everything that you do day in and day out is like a reflection of trying to get to that.
How do you visualize?
That I think I like.
Can you? What do you guys have something right now? Like, cause I'm kind of weird in this way, right? I do.
I'm gonna sum it up in 2 words: glass onion. Boom.
Boom. Okay.
Was that solid?
Yeah.
Not bad.
Are you saying for me?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying more even like I used to legit like close my eyes and like think of a G-Wagon, and then like think about like opening the door.
Yeah, that's
like what it would look like
powerful.
at my house, what it would look like in front of this restaurant, how I would feel. Like I little stuff like that. Where like right now I'm doing it for like my backyard. Like right now I go out and I sit and look at my backyard, bro, and I just visualize the pickleball court right behind the half pipe, and I visualize the new barnuminium. I visualize the pool, and I visualize, dude, and I like legit am trying, and it's weird because I'm starting to see it more and more, and I feel like in my life over and over again I do stuff like this every day. I have a journal or in my phone. I have a book I do it, and I write down my top 10. What I do is I go 1 through 10. And I write down at the top, I have all our sales guys do this, and I've had a lot of guys have crazy success. And I learned this from a mentor of mine. What you do is I just write down 1 through 10, and I write up on the top, I'm happy and grateful because, and then it says 1 through 10. And what I do is I write things that I want and present tense like I have them. So I'm happy and grateful because
it's a present tense.
You know, and my first 3 are very simple, and these probably don't count for most people. Like, oh, that wouldn't count because they're. But it's happy and grateful because my wife is happy, Stone is happy, Reggie is happy. Those are my first 3 every time. Then I have 7 more that will be certain things, where our business is at, what type of car I'm gonna be driving, same Countach. Different things that like I write down every day, and I just write those. I'm happy and grateful because I have these. And
do you have yourself on that list for happiness or no? Because
I think the whole list is that. That is the whole list.
It's
like,
the reflection.
I think it starts
that's
of
what
like
makes
that.
That's
that
what makes
list
that
is
that
for me.
Yeah.
You know, because I think and we've talked
like
about
those are all the
subcategories
subcategories to that category.
Yeah, and some stuff is like goal stuff, like savings goals that I have or whatever it is. But like
that's the mild shit.
I put these down and like they're
do you write them the same every day until you achieve them?
That's what's fun is the way you do this is like the whole kind of cheat code to this is you can't look at the day before. So when I tell people about this when they first start, it's always funny because I'm like, don't cheat. You're going to want to cheat, but write them down. I'm happy and grateful because, and if you only get 8, put 8 down. If you only have 4, put 4 down.
So you
can
be whatever.
I'm happy and grateful because I own a house on Davis Island. I'm happy and grateful because I have a G6.
So you try to do this every day?
You do it every day.
You do this every day. And sometimes your answers change, or as much as possible.
So they won't. After a while.
After a while, yeah.
So after a while, because you can't look, you get locked in. And if you look, like, what was it that I wanted yesterday? That's the whole point of this. So you keep
find out what the
and
fuck you really want.
30 days, you'll have these 10 things that say I'm happy and grateful because I have $100,000 in savings, because I, my wife is pregnant, because I went on a trip to Barcelona with my father, whatever it is. And you keep writing those down, and you don't look, and you don't think about the order. And over time, they become that way. And it's one of the coolest feelings when you get to cross one off. And then sometimes I'll have a same one for a while, and then I have a different one, and it goes on there. And that one just pulls away, and
it's like priority changing.
But it's fun. And I think what it does is, like you said, it just kind of makes those daily actions, in the same alignment of what you want. And if you're writing these things down and it's on your mind, and then again, after I do the things, I always write 3 things I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
And I think just like the power of gratitude is so underutilized, especially this day and age where everyone's sad and this, like, holy hell, look around, man. Like, I don't know. Like, I just think like it's like
I wish I would have had I wish I would have kept that book. It's in the old garage right now. I had a little journal, and I went on a ayahuasca trip in Kincara in Costa Rica, and the first night I went, I wish I had the fucking thing. It's a small skinny journal, but the first night I went, I'm faded on ayahuasca, just fucking seeing a million things. Fucking the shamans are singing and dancing. I'm visually all this shit, and I ran back to my yurt, which you're probably not supposed to do. Leave like the Maloka other than to go to the bathroom. But I ran back to my yurt, and I grabbed my notebook, and in pitch black on top of this mountain, I started writing like crazy, just writing on every page, like fucking this, blah, 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 turn the page, blah, blah, right, turn the page, and it's all like scribble scrabble. It's like legible to me because I wrote it, but it's really like scribble scrabble. I'm on
like
drugs.
You didn't pick up the pen once. It's just like fucking.
I'm just like scribbling. I'm writing things that are on top of my mind. I look back at it today because I was going to move some of my stuff out, and so I saw some of the stuff, and it was like the last page was like, cat plus moosh with a heart around. It's like the end, and like that was the story at the end. But I went through like the whole story of my life, like through the book on every single page.
Wow.
But I don't know. I should have went back and read the whole thing. I just took a picture, like just like like what a joke this was.
Have you seen that dude who like he does that? Like he like paints on different drugs. Have you seen that?
Who?
It's some guy I saw it like on Twitter one time where basically like and it was all like he'd take like Adderall and then like draw a painting, and then he'd take speed, and then he'd take acid, and then he would like do ayahuasca, and then he would take like shrooms.
That's a 6 series.
It's kind of, if you pull up the pictures and look at them, it's kind of rad because the way he draws is like you kind of like see that in there. It's interesting how similar.
Yeah, that's
kind of interesting.
But he's an artist. Like he draws nicely as well. It's not like me and you draw.
Like, I remember like some of them being like really scribbly, and then like there were some that were like insanely detailed. There's some that made no sense, and it kind of is. I think an indicator of some of those drugs, probably what they're doing to your brain, and it was kind of cool how he was able to express that in an art form.
That's sick.
Some people do it in a music form, some people do it in a creative form, but art, like seeing what he's drawn, I thought was unique.
No, that's sick.
So we should do our own session?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an artist, but I've always wanted to do one of those abstract art things where like you like just throw stuff at the wall.
Yeah.
Like the dudes who like are like on a ladder and like throw something at the wall one time and everyone like claps and they're like, oh.
Yeah. No, there's some wild forms of art.
The ones on Instagram I see that
real
like
talk, side business I'm going to be doing is getting into art. I
was literally going to tell you that when we were talking
like
about
collecting.
when we were talking about
I'm already into that, like too deep. But my
we were talking about the collection. I was going to say I think that's something that you'd slaughter it and you'd love it.
Well, I want to our neighbors where our warehouse is for Flo. We keep all our solar panels. Our neighbors next to us, they have like this patent on the way they could chrome stuff. So it's crazy. They chrome all of Notre Dame's helmets. You know, the gold helmets. They do they have this process. Yeah, any of like anything chromed. It's these guys doing it. Like they did this crazy Google did that $1 million building in New York, and they spent like $1 million at Spectrachrome, our neighbors, to have them do like this wall piece, and they basically just spray these cool like wood pieces. So if you're in New York, you go to the Google building. When you get on the elevator and go up, that whole wall that's behind you, it's like a mesh of colors going up in these cool wood panels. My neighbor's painted. But long story short, he paints stuff for some artists, and he could chrome anything, and. You know, I don't want to get too much into this because this is going to be on the internet forever, but there's some dudes who have very easy ways of making sick art that will make it for very cheap and sell it for an insane amount of money. And what he told me is he said it's kind of pay to play, where he says to get into like certain art galleries, you have to pay. So let's say there's a Miami art gallery. To get in there, we have to pay $200,000. So we say, okay, we put $200,000. We're now, or not even to get in the gallery, but to get into like be on the list of a high-end artist. All you have to do is pay. And then you're in there. So we could take, let's say, like this Addict hat, and let's say we chrome it. And like right now, I feel like just collectibles, artwork's really in. A lot of people have had those like, you know, like Cos dolls I love, but now people are doing the astronauts that are like sad, or there's different stuff. But like, I don't know, dude. I think that if I got like, if we somehow were to engineer like cherries, you know, and then we chromed them this like beautiful red into gold or red into like, you know, green cherry stem. And it was like a heavyweight, you know, iron piece of art. And then we paid to play and get one of these galleries. I think we go sell something like that. Like he tells me I see the art pieces he has and the guys that he does, and he knows what it costs to get them. He knows what their cost is, and then he knows what they're selling for. And he's like, Rich, this is just like
no, it's
crazy.
insane. I mean, there's nothing honestly that excites me more than like just creating random shit like that.
I'd have to love it though first.
Yeah.
That's my only thing is like I'd want to do this because I feel like I do like sculptures. I have Cos dolls. I have a lot of the collectible stuff. Like one of my favorite things is random collectible stuff, and I want to love it. So I don't want to do the cheap route of like, oh, I could, you know, just get this figurine.
No, you do it right. You do it right.
Chrome it and make it look really expensive.
No, you do it right.
I'll put my name on it, but I got to figure out what it is.
But you gotta start. Because honestly, I don't give a fuck what you get into and what level of capital and what you want the end goal to be. You just got to start, even if it's just like conceptually and like beginning the thing. Because no matter what you begin in life, I don't give a fuck. It's like a gutter. You're gonna go through shit until it's fire. Yeah, right? But I know even if the budget's not there.
No, like not the budget. It's more of like, bro, I go through this a lot. I wish I could live a million lives. Sometimes I walk through like the city. And I see someone, or like when I was in Tokyo, I had this thought a lot of like, dude, imagine just growing up here. Yeah. Or like, right now it's like going all in on just stone and being a sports dad in the sense of like be his coach and everything. Or it's like go all, you know, there's random stuff of like, you know, master the piano. There might be some stuff that like you're like, oh, you can do that, and I'm going to. I've realized I got to kind of prioritize. But dude, I love life, and I want to experience like all the different like avenues, but I only have one time right now. So like 100%, like I want to do it, and I want to. My starting of it is talking about it. My starting of it has been looking at different licenses and how that works. So I am starting it. Yeah. But it's one of those things that I agree that it's like you just kind of got going. But for me, I'm like I gotta kind of, if I have this much time in the day, and I what can I fill it up with right now at least? What's the most important right now? And I think kids has taught me that. Like having a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. Bro, that sometimes I think about Stone when he was Reggie's age, and I'm like, dude, I felt like you were gonna be that way forever. I was always gonna have a kid who could barely walk, that would scratch my nose because he didn't know that I would hurt. And then it goes away like that, and then he's not scratching your nose, and now he's talking, and now he's
playing FIFA.
Now he's playing FIFA.
Now he's cranking.
Now he's the
FIFA.
G, and it's new stuff, but like that's always gone. So I don't know if that's like a thought that other people have, but like I'll see people and like I wonder what it's like to like live in a skyrise down here. I wonder what it's like to just live in Dubai the whole time. I wonder what it's like to be and go down to Mexico and run like an underground like cockfighting ring. And you know, I don't know. Like, as weird as this sounds, like I love that. And so I want to do art. I want to do it right. I think that like networking is a good way of starting to get the right people. I think I'm kind of learning my taste. I'm getting into stuff a little more. I've always been like appreciative of other people's.
Eric Mayer today. Eric called me
Today?
He called me today. He said, "Hey, Richie's been hit me up to go to a country concert."
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, they're coming to play. We're playing pickleball
When?
Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah, he said that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's sick.
Then they want to come to the lake after.
That's sick.
He's like,
Oh, that's awesome.
We'll bring his dog. I'm like, hell yeah. I told him
Yeah,
I'd
bro,
call
we going
tomorrow.
down there for months. You can't get
Can't-
him out
you can't
here.
even get him out
Richie
here.
goes down there for one day.
No, they're coming up for his like something at the casino. He said they're already gonna be there. That's the only reason.
He loves The Rock.
We're all boys together. Like, yeah, we you know.
Yo,
He's
so,
hilarious.
So my first take on it. I've always wanted I've always been creative, whether it be business or just random shit and concepts. But like my mom's an artist. Concept creator.
Concepto
My
creator.
mom is a fucking artist, insane on the drawing.
Wow.
My sister is like they're both interior designers. My sister's like a fucking wild artist. Like anything she thinks of, she can fucking make it the dopest way. But I've never had like that level of physical manifestation. So I was like, I've always wanted to get into painting.
Yeah.
I think like art collecting
You're
and painting
right?
and sculpting. Yeah. So this is my first version of that.
Talk to Billy, tell him to
I'm
come.
like, I walk into Blick down by like close to the airport.
Tell
And
him
my,
to
my
show
favorite
up.
artist of all time for like paint art is Basquiat. Like hands down is Basquiat. I think like the life he lived and like his mind and like what he touches on is just fucking sick. So this is my ass walking into to Blick. I'm like, okay. If Basquiat I go up to a girl. I'm like, if Basquiat walked into this store right now, what paintbrushes would you buy? And then I was like, what's the biggest canvas you got? I just took it all and I left.
I love it.
And I just started. And I was like, for me, like my mindset on it was like, I had a really, 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 really crazy intense period of my life in 2022. And I just want to like paint all of those experiences. Like I sat down on my phone and I was like, let me think of all the craziest times. And I listed like 20 of them. And I'm like, I'm going to make a painting of each of these.
I love that.
Like not think it through and just paint it. So like right now I got like the background. It took me 3 days to cover this entire canvas with just like the background layer.
Bro, I gotta start painting with you. That's so cool.
Dude, it's so fun. It's so fun. And then do you remember the thing that we did at the crib?
When did you start painting?
When did I start painting?
Yeah.
I just did. I got these canvases probably like 2 months
That's what
ago.
I'm saying. You had no previous art. Your mom just has the
Dude,
background.
as of right now, all I've done is a background on one giant canvas. So
I
like,
put big titties on that.
no, that's the one that we did for your birthday.
So it's funny when you're like, just start, because I'm a huge believer in that. I'm like, dude, like especially with like our door knockers, it's always like the first door is the hardest. Just start doing it. Just start moving. Make the first call, whatever it is. Start. But like for a while, my wife would make fun of me because I just have a really addicted personality, and with like certain sports or certain things. And we went one time to this little date night and we did clay pots, spinning or throwing. They call throwing clay, and we made a pot. And it was like this instructions, and they helped us. We did it, and bro, I was obsessed. I was like, this is the coolest feeling. I can start making cups. I can make mugs for the homies. I'm gonna make everyone a birthday gift. It's a custom mug. I'm gonna make a vase for flowers. And I just like I get on these like tangents of just like loving it. Like that's why I don't mind it with myself. But I went home and I spent like $3,000 on an oven, on a roller, on like 10 pounds of clay. And my wife's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Babe, it was so much fun." She's like, "Okay, just make sure like you use it." I'm like, all right. You know, everything comes. I go to like the first night and like couldn't mix the clay the right way. It was like too milky, and I'm trying to spin it. It's getting all messy. I'm like looking around for my instructor, and there's no instructor. I think I made like 2 pots. Ended up like selling the things to my buddy for a good price. But I'd love to get back into throwing pots. Well,
But you gotta try shit, and I have that.
But that's how I think. And jumping in, it's like the cold plunge. When I wanted a cold plunge, I was like, I'm gonna buy a cold plunge, so I have to do it.
Yeah.
Like jump in. It's like
And sometimes you gotta
You
go.
made one
I
instead
kept
of
thinking about it.
And
Yeah.
sometimes you gotta go all out though. Like for me, I know that like I don't know why, but like and sometimes I'm like I just gotta commit and do it at the scale, or at least try to do it at the scale that I want. Like I knew if I went and I got a canvas this big and I started painting, like I would just be, no matter what ended up on that canvas, like to me I would be like whatever. But like if I get a giant canvas, I don't give a fuck if it turns out to be absolute dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
To me, in my mind, I'm like, that's going for like 10.5 million at least in an auction. It's my first
I
painting
think the
ever.
difference is like with canvas art, like you really can just throw paint against there, and no matter what, like again, if you like it, if you love it, if you're into it, it's great. With throwing a clay pot, like
If it looks like
you
shit,
could have
it's
nothing,
shit,
bro.
yeah.
Like mine was literally.
Hey,
like,
but then you got a
I
curved
should've
dick and then
kept
you chrome
learning
it and then it's a
yeah.
wrap. You know what I'm saying? Imagine like you crank out all your first pieces and then like 10 years later you chrome them all and it's like Richard's
Dude, maybe
first
that's
collection.
what I do for my art. Maybe I like legit make the pieces and then like we chrome them.
And just
They're, like,
chrome
these
that bitch.
Badass like like flower vases or something. I don't know. It's gonna come to me. I'm
That'd
a
be
big
sick,
believer.
though.
It kind
That'd
of
be
come
sick.
to me. I'm gonna be.
And that's the only thing when I say like fuck it, just do it. Like it's like just fucking whatever. Like even if you don't
At
use
least
it
start
now,
it though. At least start. I
At least
started.
start it,
I
yeah.
started.
And
I
that's
put
the
money that
move.
wasn't for me at the time. Cool.
And that's the move. And
Yeah.
I've opened up so many doors, and we're probably the same in that route. I know he's the same in that route. It's like I've opened up so many doors just in the hype of the moment of like an activity or a hobby or something that I wanted to do, and splurged on it. I like fucking I'm gonna buy all this shit. I'm gonna do it, and I do it, and I get it, and I'm like, oh, well, this was fun, and that's it. But like you got to do it because like you're gonna it's gonna completely shape who you are if you don't do those things in an awful way, and you're gonna look back and be like, fuck, I wish I did it, even if I just picked it up.
I think it's fun, but dangerous. It's like a good.
You gotta find a balance.
It's a
but
good
like.
trait to have to be able to jump in to explore, but you gotta be careful because it takes away from what's important. It takes away from what's important.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
but
there's time and money, and time is
money helps you buy time. So the more money you have, the more you can explore. That's definitely one thing. You know, you have less money, it's very hard to explore. You have to explore things a lot more calculated and risk adverse.
For sure. Money's energy. At the end of the day, there's also like there's a big difference between doing it for like hobby, activity, shit that you get excited about, and then also doing it for business. Like there's a balance for both, right? Like to grow in anything, like I was talking about it with Cleo today. We're talking about business and this and that, what it takes to actually build something. I'm like, baby, I'm probably at most 2 for 12, going to be eventually 3 for 12 after Addict really takes off. And I'm like, but at the end of the day, I have no regrets no matter how much I spent in attempting this venture. Sometimes it was just opening the door, hitting that peak, and being like, fucking slamming that bitch up and be like, no, that's not for me. Sometimes you go in, you go through the hall, you go deeper into the crib, and you're like, no, this house is not also for me. Mm-hmm. But like, I don't regret opening any of those doors because
I got a what? A bug on your right cheek.
and it's like you're also changing, you know, like what maybe you were into or you were going through at the time is changing as you're going through that venture. Like if you start something new and it's like, dude, I love this right now, and if that love for it goes away, so you want to back out, like I think that's that's another reason why stuff can shut down is like your passion for it, you know.
For sure.
I think it's good to try for sure. You definitely got to reflect when you close the door. I think that's
what you learn.
Thing. You gotta. If you don't reflect and sit and look back on why you opened it or why you closed it and what you learned from it,
that's the most important part. That's like the power of learning from failure. And I think for me is like, especially like I had major transition in my life. A lot of shit happened to me in a very short period of time as I was like, you know, in my younger years. I'm still young, obviously, not as old as you cats. But like I was doing like one thing 1,000 ways. I was doing 1,000 things one way for like a long time. And then like slowly I get towards the point where I'm like, I finally find one thing that I want to do fucking 1,000 ways. And like, I think that's when shit just clicks. And it's just you unlock like a whole new level of excitement. Like for the first time ever, you're not getting bored with this one activity like the shallow level. You're like finding all these different angles and perspectives and how deep you can dive on like this one thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think. So
since we gotta, you know, people are gonna want us to play some pickleball soon. We pretty much ask everybody this.
This is a podcast, by the way, that I really want to go on for like 4 hours. So we're gonna play.
We'll just do a round two.
We should do round 2, round 3, round 4.
But we don't have people. We don't have like things that we have to do.
When you guys need me last minute, you know, I do appreciate the little heads up. Addict did try to get me in a couple of times, but I was like, Rich, we need to do 30 minutes. I'm like, what? Like a podcast? I'm like, bro, come on. All right, we'll give you a heads up more time. Rich, we need you in an hour and a half.
And I think I got him at a day. Rich, we need you tomorrow.
Yeah. Nah, you shouted out a couple of days. It was like,
how did you get into pickleball? And then overall, what has pickleball done for you? And do you see yourself still playing
let me
pickleball?
re-ask that question because I got one question for both of you, and then I'll end with that question.
Okay.
But it's just because of where we've been talking. I could talk to you guys probably if you say 4 hours, 40 hours. Like we could go on. But I'm curious about this because this is something that's been on my mind lately and stuff with people, and I'm still trying to figure out how I would answer it. And I've been thinking about it a lot lately. But and you've heard this question before, but real quick, give it say 2 minutes so you don't think too much about it and just kind of what's raw in your mind right now. But if right now it was like boom, let's call it, you know, like $100 million is in your bank account. Actually, let's go like this. $500 million is $500,000. $5 million in your bank account. $5 million in your bank account. Where are you living? Who's around you? And what are you doing?
Ooh.
Just 2 minutes. What is it right now?
I'm gonna start. You're not
Yeah.
telling me to wait for 2 minutes. Well,
No, I'm
first,
saying I've talked for 2 minutes.
yeah, I'll first start by saying it is the same people around me, because these people are not around me. The people I associate myself with are not around me because of like where I'm at in life and like this. It's just that like these are the people that I want to be around. And then the second thing is definitely establishing like home bases. Like when I was young, I traveled in and out, whatever, cool, get the shallow experience of all these different countries, but continuing to discover new countries, but building a base in those countries. So it's like, yeah, I want a place in Osaka, right? I want to have a place in Milan. I want to have a fucking place in Dubai and experience that. So it's like planting these seeds in all of these cities that I think I can learn the most from and grow the most from, and like cultures that I'm the most attracted to.
Where you at?
Japan.
I know you could be in all of them.
Japan first. Like
Japan.
for me, it's like I have to understand Japan. I don't know what the fuck it is. I've had a calling since I was like before fucking Americans thought Japan was cool. I don't know what it is. I've been obsessed with every aspect of the culture, and I was like, I just gotta understand that. I'm going to Japan for the first time in January, and I'm excited. So I think that's the
I was
biggest
rocking
thing.
Hello Kitty in like 1999.
That's fire.
My motorcycles all have Hello Kitty stickers on them. I'm Jap Life for real too.
That's fire.
That's
yeah,
tight.
I'm going. I'm
So
going
Japan.
for the first time in
And
January.
what are you doing? And what are you doing?
I'm fucking learning Japanese. I'm diving in. I'm doing this. Like, there's no doubt. I'm growing Addict. Like that. This is what I want to do. Like people asked us somebody asked us, I think Seb, from like in a very early time when we initially started, before we even wanted to admit that Addict was ours. We just wanted to grow it like independently. At least we thought we could. He was like, okay, the guy with the briefcase comes right now. How much you want to sell Addict for? Like, what's your exit? Like, I don't. Like, I want to build Addict to be something absolutely fucking insane, something that is like a more mission-driven version of a company like Nike, and I want to do it in a way that I can express it well beyond what we just do at this current time. Mm-hmm. And what that exactly looks like, I can go on and on and on, but like,
I love that.
I'll go with just watch.
That's more than 2 minutes, but I love that.
I'll go with just watch. Yeah.
Japan.
Time limits.
With Japan, with the same people building Addict to be a Nike level brand at that point in Japan. Dude, that's badass.
Yeah.
What's the three questions again?
Yeah, 500 million in bank account. Where are you at? Who are you with? What are you doing?
You said 5? We said 100 mil.
I changed it to 500 right after that.
500. Okay.
Yeah.
Changes everything.
Well, what I'm just trying to say is like you don't have to work. Like
I got 5 houses.
100 million. Like if someone said 100 million for me,
Take 2.
I'd probably try to roll that 100 million into $1 billion before. But like what just the end goal is. Like what not even the end goal, but it's like the journey is.
Where do we want to take it?
Is the meat journey? The journey is what it is. That's what the journey. It's not where you're going. But I think a lot of people, it's like the money starts to skew that thought.
Yeah.
So it's like if the money's not there, where are you at? Where are you at? Who are you with? And what are you doing?
It's definitely important. I'm not sure if I ever said on the podcast, but I had that moment in time that kind of clicked for me was when I was taking my medical boards and I was living in. You probably heard this, but I was living in Maine, and I had this badass attending who was teaching all of our courses. It might have been cardiology or whatever that he was teaching. And badass, wealthy, acclaimed physician, research document papers, this, that, cars, houses, blah, blah, blah. And I'm stressed to the kill. It's negative fucking 20 degrees. It's like the worst winter Maine's ever had. I've never been in snow, never lived in snow my entire life. I live in a hotel, haven't felt the warmth of the sun in months. I'm studying around the clock every single day. I'm just like ultra just fucking out of it. And everybody leaves. I'm the last person in the classroom. And like, everyone goes up to ask questions about the lesson. So like, I'm the last person. I'm in the line of people. I get to the line. He's like, well, what's going on? What do you need help with? And I'm like, I don't really necessarily need help with anything. I just want to know how I can become you. And he looked at me and he's like, I want to know how I can become you. And I was like, why would you want to become me? I'm broke. I'm overworked. I'm miserable. I'm like seasonally depressed. It's nasty here, whatever, X, Y, and Z. And he's like, I do the same thing every day. Doesn't matter how many cars I have. Doesn't matter how much money I have. It doesn't matter. The best part of getting to where I was every single step along the way. When I went through undergrad, when I went through medical school, when I went through residency, when I had my first patient, trained, did this, all these firsts. Like, my life has no more firsts. Everything is, I do the same thing around the clock. I come teach, I go to work, I go home. I come teach, I go to work, go home. It's like, enjoy every moment of what you're doing right now. Like, enjoy this part of the process, because eventually you'll get to, if I continue with medicine, it's like eventually get to the point where You're going to clock in every single day, and you're going to clock out every single day, and you're going to do the same thing day in, day out until you retire. And that's really the life of a physician. I mean, you pretty much work yourself until you die, and everyone around benefits from the amount of work that you're putting in. So that was the first kind of like, whoa, yeah, I guess I better slow down, just like be happy that this is where I am today. I mean, I've definitely lost sight of that throughout different journeys and been like, oh, I got to get there. But now I think more than ever, I'm like, you know what, this is, I'd like to be a little bit ahead of where we are currently would be nice, a little more comfort. But we do pretty much enjoy every single day, no matter how shitty, hectic, or good it is. And so that was a good lesson to always look back on. Now back to my $500 million. I tell this to everybody. My home base 100%. I would be on the road like as much as possible. I think there's so much world out there to travel to, and
I agree. But
so many people you can touch, and like especially if you have money, you can do a lot of good things to a lot of people that have nothing. You know, you can go out to small remote villages and for $2,000 bring something there, some resource there, and you changed an entire village's life, which I think is so profound and so cool.
Cut the bullshit. He's getting a yacht.
No, I want like
one. You can do both.
I want like one of those huge like nature preserves like in Africa where like I'm out there with my homies and like they're cats. It's like these big lions. Like I'm part of the pack. I'm like sleeping out in the bush with these homies and like I'm going to feed the zebras every day. I'm a huge animal person. Like love animals, which is why
there's no doubt about
cat.
that.
If you're watching, give my motherfucking cat back. You can cut that out. But yeah, so that definitely would be home base. I think I would love to do all that big cat shit and like be able to like be part of like the pack. Surrounding myself definitely with the people that I'm meeting now. This part of my life, I've met the most high quality individuals, probably in part of what we're doing. Yeah, Drew. Part of what we're doing. I mean, I think that Pickleball has been a beautiful thing that has allowed us. Shout out Flo team here. It's been a beautiful thing. We
need solar
in general. Yeah,
holla at the boy.
We got to meet. I mean, one of the reasons you're on the podcast. One of the great people that we've met along the road, and I think that we have a list that probably can wrap around all of Tampa and how many great people with unique backgrounds and that are just excited about our journey and excited to be part of it. And so I think from here to 500 million, we'll meet a lot more people with the same profile, the same outlook, that same energy. I'm definitely more so in that belief now of like, before it was never just like, oh, it was like whoever was around me was my friend. Like I'm the first person, like, I'll be your best friend. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I'll find out the best in you. You can fuck me over. You can do whatever. Like I'm cool. Like I'll just continue to look past all that. But now, so more than ever, I'm like, you know what? Like early on, I told him, it was like, dude, you find one person that you really resonate with, and then that amplifies. And so you start putting out those vibrations collectively together. It becomes a stronger body.
Starts with yourself too.
Yeah, and you start attracting other people. I said, if we can continue to attract quality people that are on the same wavelength that we are, like we'll be able to do anything. Because you get to 3, and then 4 and 5 become much easier. The step 1 was finding a good business partner, which you have multiple.
I have 3 now.
You have 3. So again, it started off with 1
to 2,
and so
1 to 3, yeah.
It's hard finding that first person, and then it becomes much easier to find the third person, and then when you find the third person, it becomes much easier to find the fourth person, and then that just it compounds. Now you're attracting more and more people that exhibit the same qualities as you, and for good or for worse, I think that really that's important. So that's the people I'm hanging out with, and that's my home base. And what was there a third?
What you're doing?
Yeah, I'm traveling, and I'm trying to touch as many. Touch sounds like I'm a fucking pedophile, but trying to touch as many lives in a positive way and leave an impact on people that necessarily don't have the same opportunities and chances. Not that I'm the most privileged human being on planet Earth, but I do have a base and a support system that has allowed me to try things, that has allowed me to fuck up and fall on my face and pick me back up when I needed. And there's fucking billions of people that never have that chance or don't have that support system where they got to make the right move like the first time, or the rest of their life is toast. And so if I could be that person for, if I could affect 10 people the way that my parents and my friends help affect me and pull me through shit, then I could say I died a fulfilled person.
That's beautiful.
All right, hit me with your 3 things. Let's go play. Are there questions?
No, hey, you got to answer those questions too.
He's still working through them.
Well, I am, and the thing is, like, I agree with like the people. I think it's my loved ones. It's kith and kin, family and friends. It's all of that, and so I'm blessed to have so many people around me. I'm a traveler. Like when people are like, "What do you want to do?" I want to experience things. I'm a big sports guy. I always tell people like I hate money, and there's 3 things that I like money for. 1, because I hate it, but you have to have it in the sense of like I like having money to take care of other people, to buy a nice dinner for someone, or if someone needs help on monthly bills or whatever it is. Like I hate money, but I make money, and one of my whys is that because it's a necessity in the world we live, with what people have going on. 2 is travel. I've been all over the world. I love to travel. I think experiencing things. I'm a big experiences over things. You buy this or go there. And then the 3rd is like sporting events. I love sporting events. I love them. I love going to live events. You guys know concerts, anything that like live that people are doing. I love it. I love going to golf
Events,
matches.
period.
Events, baby. I love to see passionate people perform. And
crowds
appreciate and like I still the thing is I try to do this a lot of stuff now. I go to games, but like you definitely enjoy it more if you're on the floor at a basketball game than you're in the nosebleeds, right? So like big money will get you down there, and I want to experience sports on a very unique high level, because I love it. I think just like being a part of history that way, seeing Jordan hit game 6 shot or seeing something happen live, I think is pretty cool. So those are kind of my whys for money in that sense. So I'd be traveling. That's what I'd be doing. But like I would love to open up, like when you're saying what would you be, when I say what would you be doing, it's more of like for money, for life. Like if you have all the money in the world, we're all going to be traveling, going to events, whatever it is there. But like what would I be doing work wise, whatever? And I think I'd want to like open up like a massive, like either buy like a ski resort somewhere or open up like a big like wave. Like I wouldn't mind living on a lake somewhere, like maybe in Idaho or maybe somewhere, one of these nice lakes up on the East Coast, but kind of remote is where I'd be, somewhere with an airport nearby so I could fly wherever, because I'd want to be everywhere with everyone.
If I was you're building your own runway.
Yeah,
if you're in Idaho,
if
you're in Idaho, you have your private airstrip.
That's what I'm saying. But then it would be something like that, to have some sort of like, I don't know why I think of like a surf wave or like a ski resort, just because like I just feel like it's hard not to be happy there. And it's like it's just something that'd be kind of rad. Those are things I'm passionate about.
Seems like where you're happiest.
I put my spin on it. I have some
memories.
Crazy terrain park with loops and whatnot. But
what's the one wave where it's like the thing comes up and it goes down and just drops like an anvil in the middle, and it puts like a circular wave like out?
Yeah, I've seen that one. The trains, they have all these. It's cool. Surfing's rad. But I'm still trying to figure that out, because it is one of those things. Like if it really was in my bank account tomorrow,
it'll evolve.
It really was. It's like, I don't know. I think it's just. I think you're right. I think it will evolve. I think that's why.
Also, it wouldn't happen that way, so it's hard to answer that question. It just won't happen that way.
That's a lie.
Like, you will evolve.
That's a lie.
We can't.
It happened to me when I was in college. I went.
No. He's saying get $500 million drop in your account.
I went.
Oh, okay.
Oh, here we go. The expired lottery ticket.
I need to play some pickle.
No, dude, in college, I was going out to the bar. This is before I even drank. I was going out to the bar, and I knew for a fact that I had, like, it was $10 cover. No matter what you drink, you don't drink, it's $10 cover. It's my freshman year, and I remember the day. It was at fucking SunTrust Bank. I don't bank with SunTrust or Truist anymore. I bank with Bank of America and Chase.
Shout out.
Yeah,
Shout out.
Truist. Sorry.
Not so
And
true.
my mom would give me $500 a month was my spending in college. And I knew damn well I was like down to my last 20, but I had to pull out cash to go to the bar, and I was like, fuck it. And there was in the same parcel where the Denny's was that we talked about earlier, there was a bank, there was a SunTrust Bank. So we roll in, go into the ATM in the drive-thru, I pop my card in, and I hit 20, and the receipt comes out and it shows me my balance, and I have like, I forget the number exactly, but I have like fucking like $65 million in my bank account.
What?
I shit you not. I have $65 million in my bank account, and I start hysterically crying in the car. Like, I'm just crying, like in tears of joy. I'm like, oh my God, my life is fucking completely different. Like 65 million, you're talking about like 15 years ago. It's fucking like 150 million right now. And I call my mom. It's like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I call my mom. I'm like, Mom, did someone die? She's like, no, what are you talking about? I'm like, I got 55, 65, whatever. I have $55 million in my bank account right now. She's like, Nicholas, don't you fucking spend a dime. They will come after you. You call the fucking bank right now. And so I wound up, obviously not that night, but I called the next day and they were like, oh my God, we are so sorry. That is a bank mistake.
Don't be sorry.
And I always think about, like, in retrospect, I'm like, what happens if I didn't call the bank? What happens if I just, like, slowly over time just depleted capital out of this account, just like started to take withdrawals from this account? Like, would they have caught on to the fact that they credited my account?
I feel like an error that big they would have, but who knows?
Who knows? But like, damn, that was like a time where, like, don't do the right thing. Like, in retrospect, if that ever happened to me again, I ain't fucking calling the bank. That's not it. I'm gonna let it sit
watch
there.
out, banks.
Yeah.
Chase, Bank of America.
So that was a pretty
That
crazy
might
one.
not be a mistake that happens twice in
So
Sam's life.
That's definitely
closing
not.
question.
Okay.
Pickleball. How'd you
love
get into it?
Okay.
What was your first story with pickleball? When did you really go like, hey, this is something I'm going to start doing, and I'm going to start doing a lot of? And how has it changed your life? In
That's
what
not our
ways?
closing question, though.
It's not typically.
Oh,
but
is
right
it?
now, it's going to be part one of a multiple podcasts. So it's
Yeah.
typically like I'm questioning.
Well, I
the
can
middle
even
of
go
it.
into depth with this one. I got to pee. That's why I'm kind of moving around, and I got to go play
Spark
pickleball.
Notes.
So I'm going to do this one Spark Notes version just because it's pretty easy.
We got
But
plenty of
I
parts
literally
coming.
started playing pickleball, I think it was like 2017 in Utah with some homies. And we just saw these little tennis courts, kind of looked at pickleball. Didn't really know the rules, but we mainly played singles, and we played back like tennis. And it was just these buddies that we would sell with every summer. And basically in the off season, we were all hyper competitive, so we'd always want to play different games with each other. We'd play golf, we'd gamble. Then when the snow would come, we would play racquetball and we'd gamble. And then we started playing pickleball. And pickleball, we'd play like singles, and we played for a little bit. That's when I started. And I really didn't play much. Like here and there I played, still never really learned the kitchen rules, what dinking was, until I moved to Florida. So about 4 years ago, and then I started playing a little more out here at our Flo factory. We put in a pickleball court like at the factory. It wasn't the right like surface, the ball would skip weird, but we started getting all the guys into it. And then I seriously got into it probably about 6 months ago. Like 6 months ago is when I started playing 3-4 times a week, and I started like actually playing better. I just got my duper. It's not official yet because I only have 8 games, but a 4-1 right now. So,
You want to log some duper matches tonight?
8 matches. We should duper tonight. That'd be cool.
We could do duper.
Yeah.
We need to set up an Addict Duper club so that we can have people register into the club.
Yeah, that
So
way.
that's what I got. That's what I got into it. And then, dude, Addict for me, it is Addict, but it's pickleball for me, dude. Is just like it is right now, and I'm a very present person. My favorite sport to play. The reason why is because the people around. I feel like the physicality of it, like I could get a good sweat from it and feel good from it. Like I physically feel good. And then like how it's kind of like a chess game. Like, I like that there is physical ability to it. Like you got to know how to hit certain shots, but then there's that kind of like, it's a game. You can mess with certain people.
Big
You know how
time
to bug
strategy.
certain people. I feel like one of my talents is reading people. And so like when you could read someone, like when Hunter gets mad, you kind of know. When someone misses a certain backhand, there's certain ways that you can kind of play that game. Not only with them, but like of where their good and bad shots are. And I really do feel like it's chess. So being with the people, getting a good sweat, and then like actually having a good competitive game, dude, I am fully addicted to pickleball right now.
That's fucking awesome. Richard, say his middle name.
Leopold
Wirthlin, motherfuckers.
the
The third. Shout out Stone. Shout out Reggie.
Hey, he'll sauce you in FIFA.
Dude, I feel like
This is one of infinity.
I know,
one
you know what this
infinity.
kind of made me realize is like not to like steal your thunder, but I'm like, bro, I kind of want to buy just like a couple mics, put them up in my shed. So I just had mics, and then just like, because I feel like I do this a lot with a lot of people.
Your show would be sick. It's like
And even just like film them, but
The
smoke
shed
some
would be
J's
fire.
and just be in the shed,
The shed would
dude.
be
If you
fire.
plunge every once in a while, and almost like a podcast format that instead of like
You should
it's
rep
like
it.
this and this, it's
Yeah.
almost like we have mics and we're smoking and people are plunging, but we're also talking. We can stand up,
No,
we
it's
can
fire.
sit down.
That's
But I
fire.
I love this, dude. I love just talking.
We're
It's the
filming this
best.
thing out where it's like
This
sick.
is